Okay, so last night I got in a few games at the Voja, Jaws of the Conclave. So again, Voja is a 5/5 wolf for 2 colorless, 1 green, 1 red, 1 white. Vigilance, Trample, Ward 3. Whenever he attacks, I put plus and plus encounters on all my creatures. Rex is number of the elves I control, and I draw a card for every wolf I control. So it was a lot of fun. And yes, as Pleasant Kenobi called out, the design is pushed, is kind of mindless. My build, I try to build it as quickly as possible out of cards that I owned, just so I could test it out, just so I could see if it works, so I could test some other ideas that I had. And what I discovered that in one-on-one gameplay, and if you watch the pub night videos when I upload them, the genie was not happy. He was not happy at all with Voja. He was not happy with power. He was not happy with the way Voja took over the game. It really upset him. I was kind of feeling bad. I was thinking maybe, well, I try to make this deck on par with what my friends have. I didn't try to make him too good. In fact, he's still missing a key artifact, Maskwood Nexus. He does not have a Maskwood Nexus, so anything that is not an elf or a wolf doesn't count to his ability. And then in the multiplayer games, I got crushed. The weaknesses of Naya. I don't have blue disruption. I don't have black graveyard recursion. So as fun as he is, in multiplayer he just kind of fell on his face, just kind of fell flat. And didn't really ask the genie what he thought afterwards, but his attitude towards the deck changed immediately once he saw that I couldn't win a multiplayer game. So now what I want to do is shore up his weaknesses, study what went wrong, tune the deck, but not make it arduous, not make it too obnoxious, so it's more competitive, so I can stand up in a multiplayer match. So we'll put Voja over here, and what I'm going to do is just go through the deck and make 2 piles. One pile is stuff that worked, one pile is stuff that didn't work, and I probably don't need. Oh, and the Maskwood Nexus, by the way. As soon as I came home, I went on MKM because I had some credit there, and I ordered a Maskwood Nexus. So he is going to get it. It's only going to be 1 card of the 99. I will only have one way of finding it. So even casting it, even getting it, is going to be iffy in a Commander game. But I need to figure out ways to shore up the deck. So one of the strategies I have from the backup plans was the deck has 26, 25 L, something like that. I was doing some fine tuning before I left to go to the pub, and I forget exactly how many L's I wound up with, but definitely in the high 20s. So the backup plan was to have an army of elves and buff them with things like the Selfish Champion. But I realized, oh, I don't need that. I need mana elves. I need to focus on green, giving me the mana, red doing the destruction, and white doing the production. I need to focus on what each color does best. And with the Voja, I don't need her or effects like her, because Voja, he pumps everything himself. I need to focus on how to get him out and attacking and have enough wolves and elves in order to make it matter. So she is going in the don't need pile. Wirewood Lodge, that's always great with mana elves, so that stays. Copperhorn Scout, I don't really need her. She has to attack, and then I get to tap on the creature, so it gives them pseudo-vigilance, plus I can reuse my mana elves. She doesn't care if the creature is attacked, all she cares is that I have tapped creatures, and she will untap them when she attacks. So let me keep her in that pile. Lands, except for one I just keep. So Wirewood Channeler, mana, so he stays. Secret Skybreak, untap mana elf, she stays. Okay, land. Fast Elf for mana, stays. Swords to Plowshares, need some way of dealing with problems sometimes, so that stays. Silver Ranger, so she comes into play and finds me a land. I consider that a mana elf, so she stays. Eladamri, Lord of Leaves. And we've got a problem with Eladamri. So all elves gain Forest Walk, and all other elves gain Forest Walk, and all other elves gain Shroud. So if I have him, and I cast a Semester's End in order to protect my team, and I'll show you Semester's End when I get to it for those of you that don't know what it does. Well, he gives all the elves Shroud, so I can't target them. And if I get the Maskwood Nexus, and all my creatures are elves, then Semester's End is useless. So either he goes or Semester's End goes, one of the two, and I'm not sure which, so I'll put him in the maybe. And as far as the Forest Walk for the elves, I don't really think that matters. Sword of the Animist, I like it, but it's not what this deck needs. It's not what this deck wants. I had it in play, and it just kind of sat there. It didn't really do anything, especially when the genie blew it up. Then it really didn't do anything. So it goes in the go away pile. Wolffair Silverheart. He's one of my better wolves, so he stays. Ghost away. So in reaction, the genie has started to play these cards that exile all creatures. So I need some way of protecting my team of not having them get exiled, which happened to me last night, and it really took the wind out of my sails in a multiplayer game, and it's one of the reasons I lost. So Ghost away, somebody casts Merciless Eviction, or even a Wrath of God. I can exile my creatures, and they come back into play at the end of the turn, after the effect has finalized. The spell is resolved and is over. So that stays. Inara, Wolfwood Familiar. Yeah, it's nice to have Voja be indestructible, isn't it? So she stays. Land stays. Wandering Wolf. The other thing I did is not only order a Maskwood Nexus, I ordered about 9 more wolves. I'm thinking now of having 15 wolves, 15 elves, 10 other creatures, so 40 creatures in total. I just have to tune it. So for right now, Wandering Wolf will stay, but he will probably come out once I get the other wolves. Pyroblast. I was up against a blue fairy deck. I had this in my hand, and I just didn't bother casting it because I figured the genie had counterspell backup, and we had Glenelendra Archmage. I knew he had counterspell backup, so it was kind of pointless. I kind of thought this would be good insurance against Cyclonic Rift, but if he casts Cyclonic Rift, he will not do it without counterspell backup. It's just, he's a very careful control player. So this can come out. Nelly, got to the hunt. Give all my creatures Trample. Yeah, she was good. Farzia of Maya. Give all my creatures haste. Yep, I need that. Canopy Vista. Land, need that. Urabrask the Hidden. Give all my creatures haste. Mess with my opponents. Perfect. Leaf Crown Visionary. So my other elves get +1, +1. Whenever I cast an elf spell, I can pay green if I do draw a card. She is more for the elf army idea, the elf combat idea. So I don't think I really need her as much as I like her, and I bought her special to go with the elves. It's not really where Voja is taking me. And I need to pay attention to what the deck wants to do and not fight it. So it wants Voja to attack and have enough elves and wolves to matter. So she isn't really necessary. 3 visits, go find a land. Yep. Cultivate, go find 2 lands. Yep. Plains. Forest. Gripping Renaissance. This is just a backup recovery after a board wipe. So if somebody casts something that doesn't exile the creatures, I can get them back. Or other permanents. I didn't play this, I didn't see it in the game, any of the games last night, either the 2 multiplayer or the 2 single player. So I don't know if it's what the deck wants or not. So for now I'll keep it, because I don't know. Cinderglade, yep, stays. Something you might notice is I do not have any of the red-white linking lands. I have a lot of the green red linking lands, but no red-white because the deck is so green-heavy. That could change, though, depending on what I do. Tendrils, 1 mana for a 1/1 first striker. He's a wolf. Comes into play early. Yeah, I'll keep that for now. It might be better off later. Beautiful. As I said in the video where I presented Voja, if you had a card that said tap to draw a card whenever your commander attacks, you'd play it, wouldn't you? That's basically what Mutavault says. So before combat, I add 1 to my mana pool, tap it. I spend that mana to make it into 2 creature of all creature types. Voja attacks. It's an elf, so everything is a plus and plus a counter from Mutavault. It's a wolf. I draw a card from Mutavault. It's beautiful. It's perfect for this deck. Jungle Shrine. I try to minimize lands that come into play tapped, but definitely make an exception for that. Elvish Archdruid. So he pumps other elves, but he also gives me mana for each elf, so he stays. Kessig Wolf Run. Don't need it. I forgot a few times that Voja has Trample already, and giving something else Trample really is unnecessary. So I'm going to take this out. In fact, I'll take it out right now, and I'll show you what I'm putting in. So I realized I need more ways to get my colors. And I had this in my binder from when the deck was Karthus. So it's going back in. So he will get a City of Brass. Yes, it deals 1 damage to me, but reliably taps for any of the colors I need. See if it hurts me more than it helps. Okay, Elvish Harbinger comes into play. I can go find an elf. Typically it would be Fauna Shaman or Beast Whisperer. And I can tap her to 1 mana to my mana pool. So she'll stay. Well-Wisher. I need to gain life somehow. She'll stay. I'll count up the elves later and see if I have too many. Command Tower stays. If I'm taking up the Forest Walk, I really don't need this. But it does turn all my other lands into dual lands or tri-lands, depending on what they are. Of course, I don't have the red-white linking lands, so there's nothing to to make into a green, red, white triome. That would be from New Capenna. I don't know what it would be called. I didn't get any of those lands. After Livy's wedding, I kind of started boycotting new cards, but there's some I can't ignore, and I've admitted that. Vivian Reed. I didn't get her in play, but her +1 isn't incredible, but it's solid. Look at the top 4 cards. I can show a land or a creature card, put it in my hand, put the rest in the bottom in a random order. That's solid. But destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. That's good because this deck has a major problem with flyers. Huge problem with flyers. As the black-blue fairy deck proved to me. And she's got a nice emblem. Creatures control with +2/+2, vigilance, trample, and indestructible. Okay, Birchlar Rangers. He's a mana elf, comes down quick. Realm Walker. Okay, so Maskwood Nexus turns all my creatures everywhere, all creature types. So it doesn't matter what I pick with Realm Walker. I can look at the card of my library anytime, and I can cast creature spells. Since they're all creature types, it doesn't matter what I pick. The thing is, do I need him? I don't know if I do. He is an elf, he's a wolf, he's kind of like Mutavault. So I don't want to build the deck around Maskwood Nexus too much, because of the unreliability in the Commander game of obtaining it and casting it. So I'll put him over here. Bullet Card Tower. If I'm going to be drawing a lot of cards, probably want that. Nomade Shepherd, yeah, she did good work. She was blowing up a few things and it felt good. Temple Garden, Forest. Reclamation Stage, she always does her job, does it perfectly. Elf stays. Sportback Wolf, this guy's kind of funny. I cast him for 2 and he's a 2/4 on my turn. Nice. He'll stay for now until I get the wolves. Like I said, I'll count up all the elves and wolves later. Go down to 15 elves, push up to 15 wolves. Not sure exactly what 15 that will be. I'll decide that once I get the other wolves that I ordered. Taunting Elf. So everything able to block I must do so. In a way, since Voja makes everything huge or bigger, I kind of don't care about making the creatures pseudo unblockable because everything has to block him. So I'll take him out. You have my Hollow? Yep. Fauna Shaman? Yeah, need her. Land. Sun Titan. The deck has white. The deck has small creatures. Things 3 CMC and less. It needs Sun Titan. Stop around Witch Stalker. So the plus is he has Hexproof and he's a 3/3 for 3. Downside is nobody's really casting that many blue or black spells during my turn. It's rare. Usually it's a counter spell. So he doesn't get bigger that way. So he's not one of the premier wolves because he doesn't have any other ability. So for that reason I'll put him in the probably take out pile. Okay, Chroma's Memorial. So the main word I'm concerned with is haste. So it comes into play, my creature's flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste. Pro black, pro red. Of course, if I play Titania Song, this just becomes a 7/7 artifact creature. And it's an artifact, so it's easy to destroy, but it does give everything haste. I'll keep it for now. Lone Wolf. I'm going to keep it for now just for the art, unless there's a better wolf. Mountain, Mana Elf. Okay, Bessandra Battleswrath. I had her in play last night, and I don't know if players were not casting spells during combat because of her, or in spite of her, if they didn't have anything anyway. So if they didn't have that many spells to cast during combat, then it doesn't matter that she says that. But I do like that I've got the added insurance of nobody can settle my wreckage if I've got Bessandra in play. So I can attack with more impunity. So she'll stay for now. Priest of Titania, Mana Elf, Titania Song. I'm doing minimal artifacts in this deck because I have this as a backup. So yes, this can pinch me if I'm relying on Maskwood Nexus, but if I cast this and I've got the Nexus in play or Chroma's Memorial in play, it's because I've got bigger problems than any artifact I have is solving. So this is kind of a relief valve. Kind of, well, this is going to hurt me a little bit, but it's going to hurt those guys and help me in that regard a lot more. So I'll keep it for now. Okay, here's Semester's End. So when I first put it in, I just kind of glanced over the word target. I just glided over it, didn't even pay attention. I decided to exile any number of creatures or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of the next end step, return them to the battlefield under their owner's control. Creatures come into play with additional +1/+2 counter. Planeswalkers come into play with additional loyalty counter. And then I was looking at it, and I realized it says target creatures. So Eladamri works directly against that via the elves. If I have Maskwood Nexus, Eladamri directly works against this completely because all my creatures would be elves. So for that reason, I'm cutting him because I think having insurance against a board wipe is more important than giving my elves, and only the elves, Shroud. Forest Walk. Yeah. Furlease, Llanowar's Fury. She was working pretty good. Just every turn if I get another Llanowar elf, that's nice. But I've got the option to naturalize something. And then of course the neg 6, draw a card for each creature I control. So I'll keep her because I haven't explored her for full possibilities. She hasn't completely proved herself, but she definitely has not disproved herself. Yeah, I know, Guy's Cradle. I've got one for an elf deck. This is my elf deck, so I'm using it. Essence Warden. So she doesn't provide any mana. She busts my life a bit. Last night, she kept me alive a lot longer than I should have been. But I need to cut some creatures. I need to cut some things. So I'm going to put her in the maybe pile. The maybe and cut pile because I need to add some things. Nature's Lord, go find a forest. Quern Ranger, turn forest I control, attack target creature. This has so many possibilities. I mean, I can return a forest I control, I can untap a mana elf, I can untap Voja if he's big and block something. A lot of flexibility for 1 mana. And I love the art. I love that I've got the promo foil, so she'll stay. Beast Whisper, yep. Drawing cards is good. Land. Pestilent Wolf. He was good as a threat. So, just the threat that I could give him Death Touch when he attacked changed the way people would block him. So, they would chump block him with something worthless. But I like that he's got that flexibility. Eldershorn, yeah, she definitely stays. I get her out in 2 games off of a Defense of the Heart. So, she changes the game. Izuri, if I'm taking out the elves, so if I have Maskwood Nexus, I can regenerate any of my creatures with him, and I can spend 5 and give my elves Overrun. And if everything is an elf, everything gets Overrun. But if I don't have Maskwood Nexus, he's only going to impact, if I cut down to 15 elves, he's going to impact only 15 of my creatures. So let's put him in the maybe. Heart Warden gives me mana, and in a pinch I can draw a card. Green Sun Zenith, go find a green creature card that I need, typically Beast Whisperer or Fauna Shaman. Elvish Mystic, Mana Elf, Bounding Wolf. Remember the problem with flyers? Yeah, so this guy is definitely staying in. So I've got something to block flyers. Wrath of God, because I do need some kind of board wipe. Cross and Verge. The deck has no fetch lands, as we know them. I just don't have any extra in his colors. I don't have an extra Erd Mesa, Windswept Teeth, Wood of Foothills. I don't have any of those. So without those, I have to dig deeper into my collection for lands, for ways to fix my mana without the easy access to the fetch lands. So the Verge stays. Hungry Ridge Wolf. He was pretty cool. I'm not sure if he'll make the 15 when I do the final count, but he'll stay for now. My comes into play tapped command tower. Yeah, if I have 15 wolves, I'm bound to get things that share creature type with my commander. I still don't get, okay, it says, when the mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. So, when I cast Voja, and I have Path of Ancestry, I get to scry 1. I understand the game allows it, I understand it works, but looking at shares, the word share, how can you share something with yourself? So just that grammatical structure bothers me and it doesn't feel right. But if the game allows me to do it, okay, I'll do it. Mountain. Clan Defiance. I really like this card. I really like the flexibility. It can kill somebody. But I don't know. It just didn't do. It doesn't do enough. So let me take that out. Defense of the Heart. Oh my God, this card is fantastic. In the 2 games when I wanted to play the Genie, he did not like Defense of the Heart. When I played the multiplayer game, he did kind of like it because he knew I was going to use it to screw over Cube, who was kicking our ass. So he was of 2 minds about it. Okay, Imperious Perfect. Other elves get +1/+1. Put an elf warrior into play. Okay, she's more the elf army strategy, so she can come out. Allurin. I still like the idea of being able to cast my stuff for free. Drawing cards at Beast Whisper. Of course, I'm taking out a lot of things that let me draw more cards. There's an Old Vanquisher's Banner. I took out Glimpse of Nature. I took out Leaf Crowned Visionary. Some games this will screw me, but I still want to see if it works. I still want to play with it in this deck. Plus the fact that it gives my creatures flash, that's worth something. Okay, Sacred Wolf. Didn't get him in play, but I like that I've got a Hexproof Wolf. Runebound Wolf. Yeah, I was going to kill Cube with it. Just out of spite, so he's going to kill something of mine. I said, okay, out of spite, I'll deal 4 damage to you. I only had 4 wolves at the time. But if I kept it going, I would have just kept hammering them with it. So that's the keep pile. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 12 cuts. 12 cuts, which is good. So let me start a part 2 and show you what some of those cuts are going to go to.